Next news. Breaking news from the White House.
We cannot give up the traffic stop. That's what Trump fired off on Truth Social, and just like that, he torched an ICE retreat within 24 hours. So look at this. While Democrats spent years teaching illegals how to dodge agents, Trump snapped the mission back into place. And wait till you hear who Homan says helped create the violence. Don't comply with ICE. And here's how you evade ICE. Tom Homan said it flat out. Let that sink in. Homan named the Democrat machine for poisoning the field while ICE agents face shootings and assaults. Then AOC turns around and blames ICE funding for civilian deaths. No. Watch the scam. Democrats inflame resistance, agents get put in danger, and then AOC smears the officers instead of the agitators. That garbage gets people hurt. And Trump had to step in fast because weakness here hands criminal aliens a green light. So Tom Homan is warning about folded flags for agents, and Americans ought to think just as hard about what gets inside our own homes and bodies. Parasite Purge opens with a man who ate undercooked fish and ended up with a worm moving in his eye. It's grotesque, yes, but the World Health Organization tracks parasitic infection prevalence and says 1 in 2 are affected. That can show up as brain fog, chronic fatigue, pain that won't go away, IBS-like symptoms, even severe chronic conditions. Jonathan Otto built a typical cleanse alternative, the full-spectrum parasite elimination protocol, pairing a science-backed parasite formula with red and near-infrared light therapy for healthy cellular function and natural detoxification processes, plus free bonuses like the 10-day intensive parasite detox protocol to prepare your body, support the cleansing process, and maximize your results. Go to purgemyparasitesnow.com and use code NNN45 to save 45% for a limited time. Stop surrendering ground. Vehicle stops are continuing. That's what Karoline Leavitt said today, and that line matters because it crushes the spin instantly. You can watch the cleanup in real time. Trump overruled the retreat. Mullin got back on the page, and now the White House is saying out loud that ICE keeps every tool it needs. Now let's get to the receipts. Trump reinstating ICE traffic stops just 24 hours after pausing them over 2 fatal shootings involving immigration agents.
Morning. So it was just 2 days ago that Border Czar Tom Homan shared that ICE was doing a temporary pause on vehicle stops. Homan indicated the decision was made by DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin and the ICE director. Then the president came out with this Truth Social post saying, "We cannot give up one of ICE's most important and effective crime-fighting tools, the traffic stop. Once we do, we are playing right into the criminals' hands." He also addresses ICE officers saying, "Be judicious, fair, and smart, and go back and do your very important job." Mullin has not explicitly said the pause would be overturned, but he says this: President Trump and I are on the same page. We want our ICE officers to have all options available to keep them safe while executing our mission of deporting as many illegal alien criminals from our country as possible. The back and forth comes after 2 fatal ICE-involved shootings in less than a week. Authorities in Maine have identified a 25-year-old man whom DHS says was not the target of their operation, but he tried to flee before an agent opened fire, calling it a...
So Trump shut down the retreat fast and put ICE traffic stops back on the table. Now Tom Homan goes straight at the Democrats, saying their ICE rhetoric is getting agents hurt.
This all comes back to the Dems who are telling people don't comply with ICE. ICE is not a real law enforcement agency. Here's how you evade ICE. Now, you and I talked about AOC a year ago. She says, well, I'm advising my constituents of their constitutional rights. Don't open your door. Don't comply. You see signs at these protests, resist. And this is the problem. You need to comply with law enforcement. So here's my concern. I think Markwayne might have been one of the reasons he wanted to look at a temporary pause. I'm scared to death because assaults with vehicles are sky high. There's been a lot of shootings. I'm scared to death that one of these days, our ICE officers aren't going to be quick enough. The bad guys are going to be quicker. And I'm going to hand another folded flag to a spouse or a child. So, you know, President Trump's clear this policy is not going away. But it all goes back to the Dems who want to continually attack ICE and tell people to evade them, tell people don't comply, tell people to resist, and tell people ICE isn't a real law enforcement agency. You and I talked about this 1.5 years ago, Laura. I said if the hateful rhetoric didn't stop, there will be bloodshed. And I'm saying it right now. There's still going to be more bloodshed unless they shut their mouth and let ICE enforce the laws that they enacted.
Homan says the problem starts with the Democrats telling people to resist and evade. Next, the focus turns inside the administration with reports that Markwayne Mullin moved to suspend traffic stops before Trump stepped in. Markwayne Mullin went around President Trump's back to suspend ICE traffic stops, infuriating POTUS, according to reports. They're saying it was a total betrayal by Mullin, and there must be consequences. Thank God 47 overruled Mullin. So after the back channel move, Trump overruled it and backed ICE. Meanwhile, AOC is blaming more ICE funding for the recent deaths instead of lawlessness her side keeps excusing.
Any reaction to the ICE killings in Maine and Texas?
I'm still taking a look at all of the details, but once again, this is not... I said this a couple of weeks ago, that I would not be surprised if when ICE funding started up again, that we would start to see more civilian deaths at the hands of ICE, and that's exactly what has happened. When you open the trenches with all of this money that Republicans have now funneled to ICE without any oversight or anything, you're going to see abuses of power, and that's exactly what's happening. You notice that, we didn't see things like this happening with the same degree of regularity when we froze the ICE funds. And now that they've been opened up again, we're seeing multiple incidents now. So,
right. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Thank you.
So AOC wants to blame enforcement, but Democrats have an even bigger problem when they try to defend who stays here. Watch Catherine Clark dodge on illegal aliens before admitting TPS holders aren't legal at all.
Whip Clark, you recently made a comment on X about MAGA extremists who are rabidly anti-immigrant, kneecapping healthcare and the economy. Can you elaborate on that? How anti-immigration, wanting to secure our borders, impacts the economy negatively?
Everybody wants secure borders, but the mass deportation, the killings by ICE, ask any person who's in construction of houses how it's going. Ask farmers how it's going with their workforce. Ask anybody in healthcare who can't find a nursing home because MAGA wants to deport Haitian TPS holders who supply 15%.
Well, it's temporary, right? It should
healthcare
only be
code.
temporary, but they've been here
Are
indefinitely.
the conditions in Haiti? We're not even allowed to travel there as Americans. So let's put the economy first.
What about
For
Americans
hard
first,
work-
though?
Yes.
But these
Let's
are illegal
put
aliens. These are
hard-working-
illegal aliens. They're not
What's
American
illegal
citizens.
about TPS? Nothing.
They need to
Nothing.
go back because it's a temporary order. Thank you.
I always love the look she gives right at the end. Oh, man, that's great. But her answer says everything about the last game. Temporary protections that never end. Next, the White House lays it down clearly. Vehicle stops are continuing, and Trump and Mullin are now publicly on the same page.
Couple of things. Vehicle stops are continuing. Verbal guidance has been given to all field offices across the country by the Department of Homeland Security. The President and the Secretary of Homeland Security are on the same page that vehicle stops are a necessary tool that ICE agents need in order to continue their deportation campaign of the worst illegal alien criminals from our country. With respect to body cameras, I know there's been some questions about that in recent days. Over half of all ICE field offices now do have body cameras, and the remainder of the field offices are expected within 60 days. It's been a slower rollout than we would have hoped, but that's because of the Democrats' decision to shut down DHS for several weeks. So we expect to fully execute on the promise of body cams to all field offices across the country very soon.
And now she talks about the new numbers from DHS.
Brand new numbers this week from the Department of Homeland Security and Customs and Border Protection confirm that for the 14th straight month, this administration has released 0 illegal aliens into the United States. Again, let me reiterate, the 14th straight month, not a single illegal criminal alien has been entered into our country, released into our country by this administration. Illegal crossings in June remained at historic lows, and southwest border apprehensions are down 94% compared to the same period under the Biden administration. These numbers speak for themselves. Thanks to President Trump's strong leadership and unwavering commitment to law enforcement, America has the most secure border we have ever had in our nation's history. The administration continues working to reverse the previous influx of millions of illegal aliens into our country by the Biden administration, and our law enforcement professionals, God bless them, are arresting criminal illegal aliens across the country, including those convicted of the most heinous and violent crimes.
So the 14th straight month, not a single illegal criminal alien got released. That's what she said. 14 straight months. 0 releases, and border apprehensions cratered 94% from the Biden years. So when Catherine Clark whines that industries depend on Haitian TPS labor, and when AOC smears ice over those killings, you're watching the same racket from 2 angles. They flooded the system, normalized the illegality, then tried to bully America into thinking enforcement itself caused the crisis. See, that's the lie. Trump just blew it up. He saw DHS wobble on traffic stops after 2 fatal shootings, and he slammed the tool right back in ICE's hands because he knows criminals exploit hesitation. Homan warned that Democrats tell people ICE is not real law enforcement and hand out evasion tips. And there it is. They delegitimize the badge, then cry foul when chaos follows. Trump restored order. The left fed the disorder. So Markwayne Mullin does need to answer one question. Why did ICE traffic stops pause at all? And that's where I land after reading this mess, because Trump fixed it fast, but we should not shrug off the retreat that forced him to fix it. You heard the president's words. We cannot give up one of ICE's most important and effective crime-fighting tools, the traffic stop. Exactly. Not during a deportation campaign targeting the worst of the worst, not while Tom Homan warns that Democrats tell people don't comply with ICE and here's how you evade ICE, and not after Karoline Leavitt confirmed vehicle stops are continuing because ICE needs them to remove criminal aliens. So yes, celebrate the win. Trump saw weakness and crushed it in a day, but keep your foot on the gas. Name AOC, name Kathleen Clark, name every activist and Democrat mouthpiece that sabotages ICE, incites resistance, and then blames the badge. If they undercut enforcement, call them out. If they protect illegal alien criminals, expose them. America is enforcing the law again, and nobody gets to drag us backwards, including YouTube. That's why we set up this telephone number, 844-840-4963. All you got to do is text raw feed, and we'll take you forward with the news every single night. One text message to your phone direct from me when YouTube fails to send you notifications. Thousands of patriots have already taken advantage of it. Have you?
The system controls information. Information control is power. I want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.